So you want to build a CNC plasma cutter for your garage. This is what I did over the winter. These plans were ordered off of JD Garage on their website. And this was a really fun project because I had to assemble everything that you see here. So we have stepper motors, we have sliding components that are gliding on extruded aluminum. So every single part I had to put together. It was a really fun project. And the best part is I love to do 3D printing, and all of the blue objects here, this cover here, all of these corners, they're all 3D printed. So I didn't have to pay for that, and it was actually very economical for me to build this. The purpose of this video isn't to showcase how I design things, because I didn't. I followed plans, but I'm gonna tell you, I learned a ton doing this, and I do have an interest in maybe creating my own versions of something like this, or maybe even creating something like this with a router, you know, where you can cut into wood. I noticed on the ESP32, these boards have output for plasma torch, they have an output for a laser, and they have an output for a router. So really sky's the limit. But yeah, really fun project. And the reason I'm creating this video isn't to showcase that I designed something. What I'm showcasing is I built this myself. I saved a ton of money by doing this, and you can do this. You know, a normal person can just follow the instructions. The instructions are great, and you can build this for yourself if it's something that you had an interest in doing. You can bring this into your own garage. There's a lot of things you can do with this. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this. Right now, it forced me to learn how to draw in CAD and then export that file into some kind of a G code that this machine can follow. Pretty cool. I don't know what else I'm gonna make with it. Maybe throwing stars? Frisbee is probably a bad idea out of metal. But I'm gonna come up with some things. Bracketry for other things I'm gonna build. I have interest in creating components that can be bolted together, and I might even do a mixture of 3D printed objects with metal parts. I mean, that's what you're looking at here, and it came out very strong. So anyway, just sharing this with others. Small, portable. I plan on hanging this up on the wall when it's not in use. And the size is really nice. I can make this bigger. You know, these are 500 millimeter extruded aluminum. I could go 1,000. You know, I could really expand this if I wanted to, but the size of this and the portability is really just right for my needs. So anyway, there it is. All right, so to make my CNC plasma cutter, I've already got these parts 3D printed. So these are all the pieces that I had to print at 80% infill. Then I've got the aluminum. So these are the aluminum rails. These are 500 millimeter. And then I ordered all of the hardware that I needed. So these are all the screws, nuts, and bolts. This is a Bolt Depot, really good spot to buy things and not get overcharged. So I was able to get exactly what I needed, nicely organized, rather than having to buy bulk. This hardware, these are T-slots that are gonna go into the aluminum rails to join the 3D parts together. And over here, I've got the wheels for the plasma machine to glide upon the aluminum with, and then some eccentric parts that allow us to tighten these up. And then considering this hardware, but these are actually magnets, but they're electrically controlled. So these go onto the feet to allow the device to magnetically attach through the push of a switch. So here we go. And I forgot to mention the tons of electronics I had to purchase as well. I really like to do 3D printing, so this project was perfect for me. The parts are very strong because they're 80% material, so 80% infill. You need to have a 3D printer in order to complete this project, otherwise you would have to buy these parts elsewhere. And you can get those on JD Garage's site as well. So the cables to the stepper motors have to have shielding installed. So all of this is something you have to do. I wasn't able to buy this. It was a little bit time consuming. The orange rod that I used, I actually pulled that out of my front yard. That's what the snow plows use as an indicator for when we get heavy snow. So it worked out pretty good. So all I did was push the shielding over top and then tape the wire to the end of the rod so I could pull that through. I also had to drill out and fabricate a purchased electrical enclosure box so that had cooling holes for the fans. In the future, I would probably just 3D print this. All right, so now I'm starting to wire up the board according to instructions I have here. So got my power supply mounted, got my ESP32. These are future drivers. I'm gonna wire these in later, but I'm gonna follow all the instructions first on the basic arrangement. So here's all my jumper packs. This is what you use. Jump connections, and this is actually going to go to the torch output. So this will be a trigger to the CNC plasma cutter to start. So here I'm just testing the functionality of a basic shape to make sure my motion works fine, there's no binding. This is very precise. With this project, it also forced me to learn how to draw in CAD. All right, here we go. Test number 1. What's gonna happen? Definitely need a longer laptop cord.